Captain Thorne was not a man of the sea by birth, but by necessity. A disgraced cryptographer from the Royal Society, he found his kingdom not in London's halls of learning, but in the command of the Sea Serpent, a swift brigantine that specialized in transporting sensitive correspondence. He didn't run rum or spices. He ran secrets, encoded in complex ciphers that only his brilliant, tormented mind could break. His first mate, Cale, was his anchor to the brutal reality of the ocean. A mountain of a man with a poet's soul, Cale could read the water's mood in the shift of a current and the color of the clouds, a language as complex as any code Reese had ever deciphered. Theirs was a partnership of two alien worlds, the scholarly and the savage, forged in mutual respect and a shared love for the freedom of the waves. Their latest contract came from a veiled woman who found them in a rain-swept tavern in Cadiz. The payment was a small fortune in uncut gemstones. The item was a single, sealed cylinder of polished brass, no larger than a spyglass. The instructions were simple. Deliver it to a remote island in the Azores, a speck on the map known as Ilha do Silencio, the Island of Silence. Do not open it, the woman warned, her voice a whisper. Its song is not for mortal ears. It must reach the keeper before the lunar eclipse in 7 days' time, or the balance will shatter. Reese, the scientist, scoffed internally at the superstition, but the gemstones were real enough. The first 2 days were serene, but on the third night, under a full moon, the cylinder began to hum. It was a low, resonant frequency that made the ship's timbers vibrate and set the crew's teeth on edge. That same night, Cale, during his watch, saw them, the Marchers, silhouettes of water, humanoid shapes that rose from the calm sea and walked upon its surface, circling the ship in a silent, ghostly procession. They left no wake, made no sound, but their presence was a physical weight of dread. The crew, a hardened bunch, crossed themselves and whispered of ancient ocean curses. Driven by a terror he couldn't control, the ship's carpenter, in a fit of madness, stole the cylinder and tried to fling it into the sea. The moment it left his hands, the humming stopped. The Marchers froze. Then, as one, they turned their featureless heads towards the ship. The sea, which had been calm, erupted. A wave, not born of wind, slammed into the Sea Serpent, and the carpenter was swept overboard. As he screamed, a Marcher dissolved into a tendril of water, wrapped around his ankle, and pulled him into the depths. The cylinder, miraculously, was found lodged in the scuppers, its seal intact. Terrified, the crew demanded they turn back. But Reese, his analytical mind, now fully engaged, refused. He had studied the cylinder. Its surface was etched with spirals that matched star charts and tidal patterns. This was no cursed idol. It was a key to a lock he did not yet understand. They're not ghosts. They are guardians, he told Cale, his eyes alight with a fearful excitement. The woman didn't give us a curse. She gave us a responsibility. This song is a frequency, a signal. The Marchers are a perimeter defense. The eclipse was approaching. With Cale's unwavering support, Reese pushed the ship and its terrified crew onward. They reached Ilha do Silencio as the moon began to bleed into shadow. The island was a volcanic crater, and in its center stood a single, ancient man, the Keeper. As Reese handed him the cylinder, the lunar eclipse reached its totality. The Keeper placed the cylinder into a socket in a stone altar. The hum returned, but this time it was not a threat. It was a symphony. The marchers rose from the water around the island, not as monsters, but as sentinels standing at attention. A soft, blue light emanated from the altar, washing over the island and the sea. The keeper explained. The cylinder was a tuning device, a stabilizer for a powerful geothermal ley line that ran beneath the ocean floor. If it fell out of sync, the energy would destabilize, causing tsunamis and catastrophic weather patterns across the Atlantic. The marchers were manifestations of that energy, the ocean's immune system. The eclipse was a period of vulnerability, a necessary recalibration. Reese and Kale left the island as the sun rose, the sea once again calm. They had not carried a curse. They had carried a cornerstone of the world's stability. The gemstones felt heavy in their hold. Payment for a service they now understood was priceless. Back in the open ocean, Reese stood at the rail, the salt air cleansing the last of his academic arrogance. Kale joined him. "So, Captain," Kale said, his voice a low rumble. "Ready for the next job?" Reese looked at the horizon, no longer seeing just water, wind, and waves, but a vast, living, breathing entity they had been entrusted to help protect. He shook his head, a new, profound purpose settling in his soul. "No, Gaed, not like that. From now on, we choose our cargo. And our purpose